Yo, what is up guys, Mr. Keys here. So the V5 changes are finally here for the 3.0 characters of the Herta, Aglaea, and Remance MC. So I'm hoping that the changes will be saving Aglaea, because that's the big question on my mind, is that will these changes save Aglaea? I know that in V3 the Herta got significant improvements and buffs in terms of her kit, but Aglaea herself got nerfed unfortunately, which I was pretty upset about. But this will determine the factor for me if I'll be pulling for any of these characters for 3.0. I know when I make the respective videos individually, I will determine at that point in time if I will even be pulling for those characters too, but these changes will be the definitive answer for me overall. With that being said, if you want to keep up to date with any more Star Wars news info and other things of Star Wars in particular, then definitely join the Discord. It's on screen and down in the description below, discord.gg/express. And finally, March is getting her skin. It's been almost gonna be 2 years if we kept going this game. It could have been 2 years at this point with no skin, but we might finally get it in 2.0, so who knows. So in terms of these minute changes for these right here, which is the LCs and the relic for Aglaea, just rewording changes for most of them except Facial's LC, which only got a slight nerf in terms of the super impositions, but that is hilarious, and that is all. But everything else is just rewarding changes for everything else. Now, moving on to the big thing that we're here for is the Herta and Aglaea. So, the Herta herself, her E2, I'll talk about that momentarily, which is a really big thing, but we'll get to that when we get to it. So overall, the Herta got really good improvements again, which I was not expecting at all. Her talent, this part got added. Before, I don't think it was here at all, because I think before it was in the technique, which is shown here. Now it's actually in her talent, which is really good. And her technique is now increasing the damage by 60% instead of 40% like before. And basically it's just rewarding changes from here and here for both the talent and the technique. And that is literally it. Her T1, rewarding change here, just that's about it. Her T2, it might not seem much, but it's saying that now it says 2 or more characters following the Path of Erudition, which before now it says at least 2 characters following the Path of Erudition. But she still gets the same, increases the Alice crit damage buff and everything else in here as well. She still has everything of that from the changes. Herta's E1 before was 30%, is now 50%. Before it used to be when using the enhanced skill, it resets it. If the primary target's current stack was 10 or higher, it resets to 10, but now it just resets it every time when you use the enhanced skill to reset. It just goes to 15 now. Now the Herta's E2, which I mentioned before, is that it's actually really good. So if you plan on pulling for Irons for the Herta, I would say start at E2 and that is it. Because the only thing that did get changed is just this, which is 15% to 35% in terms of her advanced action forward, which is really good because she already did advanced action forward anyway, which is already good enough. But what I mean by the overall explanation value is that if we look at the Discord and compare, basically the explanation, which was an error before, so now it basically says a new change makes it so that the Herta has a more balanced E2. She gets a 35% action advance, but not 60. But now you can get a ton more enhanced skills with the Herta. Mind you, the inspiration stack equals an enhanced skill you can use. So you could get an enhanced skill to start the game, and you get the extra one when you use her ultimate. She's basically an absolute bust at the E2 and might be one of the best E2s in the game. I don't know about one of the best, but I say it's a really good E2, I would say. But yeah, E2 is gonna be a really good pick for the Herta. So if you plan on pulling Irons, then pull for E2 for the Herta, and that's it. It's really good though. Overall, she did get slight buffs and improvements, so I like that. But we're here for Aglaea. Let's see if she got those same changes and treatment as well. So in terms of what she got, 50 to 55, stacking it 6 times, just a slight number increase. We weren't changing the talent, just taking the base speed out of Aglaea entirely. It's just now Aglaea speed. The skill for her, the summon, we were changed, that's about it. Ultimate, we weren't change here. Everything seems the same pretty much. Talent's being copied twice, I don't know why. Technique, we weren't change. Now, this is the enhanced basic attack. I don't know why it just says basic attack, but you could tell it's the enhanced basic attack because it says can now recover skill points because it's just using the enhanced basic attack. It did get jumped by 10%, which is nice. So not 80, now 90% for both Aglaea's attack and the garment maker's attack too, which is really nice. Now, the E1, E2, it might seem like a little crazy because right here it says it's 20 times and not 3, but bear in mind that this is like a swap. Basically, the E2 has to be the E1, and the E1 is the E2. So for better explanation purposes, we go back to the Discord. Let's go make it to where you can see both of them. Right here. So Aglaea right here, 50% increased damage, which is this right here. It's just the numbers have to be swapped, right? And they actually are swapped too. So E1, E2 needs to be swapped, and the numbers actually need to be swapped too. So right here, 50% damage increase, and she regenerates 20 energy. And then E2 is that damage dealt ignores 14% of the defense, and it stacks it 3 times. And basically the TLDR is that the explanation for E1 error is just a mix up between the numbers between E1 and E2, and that's about it. So it may seem crazy here because it's like, oh, 15% of the defense and then 20 times is crazy. Yeah, it's just a switch up. So like this needs to be here and then this needs to be here. So it's just switching the numbers, and that's literally it. I think also this needs to be switched too, which we just saw in here, which yeah. So yeah, that's that for the islands for Aglaea. I know I'm not pulling islands for her, but I probably would still pull for her because I would still like to have her on my account. But overall, I think she did get some slight changes, but nothing too crazy, I would say. So I would say it didn't really save her, but it did give her slight improvements. And then as for the Remance MC, all they got was a rewarding change here, and that's it. Which, I mean, nothing too crazy, but yeah, overall, I mean, these changes for all the characters, I would say Herta got the most beneficial one out of all of them, I would say. Not gonna lie, it's just, she keeps surprising me every single time when we get these changes, because at first I was thinking to myself like, okay, the Herta is just basically a better upgrade of the regular Herta, right? The 4-star one. But no, they just made her completely different, and which is really good, but it's like, I didn't think that these changes would make her really, really good. But in terms of Aglaea, I mean, just wasn't expecting a nerf in V3 and then her getting slight buffs in V5. Just slightly, but nothing too crazy. But I mean, my overall verdict is that if you want to get the Herta, pull for her. I would say Jade's a must pull because if you want the best numbers for the Herta, then you know you want to have Jade on the team. I know the 3.0 reruns look scary. I was gonna make a video on it, but I might still, who knows. And in terms of Aglaea, I mean, if you have Sunday, then you could pull for her if you want. But if you want a better DPS in the future, like for instance, Custoris, which I mentioned, and that was even shown in the Game Awards live stream as well for the teaser that they did for Euphorius. She's the Annie character for 3.2. So if you want a better summon DPS, then pull for her. She will be like the Akron of the 3.x characters in terms of the lineup. So keep that in mind. And yeah, that's all I really had to say for these changes. I mean, I think they're really good. It didn't really save, make or break the character. I think it's pretty good overall. And yeah, I mean, I might pull for them still, who knows. When I make the individual videos respectively, I will determine at that point if I will even be pulling for any of these characters in 3.0 of the Herta and Aglaea. With that being said, my name is Jay, or known as Mr. Keys. You want to keep up to date with any more Star Wars news info stuff besides, you know, just your average person, I guess, then definitely join our Discord. It's on screen down in the description below, discord.gg/expresstrain. I don't know why I said that at the beginning, but anyway, please give us a smart skin. That's all I ask. Please, we've been dying. I don't want to keep having to see skin mods for the game and knowing the fact that, you know, I have to keep using it like that. But anyway, with that being said, my name is Jay, or known as Mr. Keys. I think I said that twice already, but yeah, love anime, stay motivated, and live life. I'll catch you guys next video. Till then, peace.